Hello, my name is Hillary Mayberger. I am the owner and founder of the Hillary Mayberger Voice Studio. I am a professor of voice at Cal State Fullerton as well as Riverside Community College and on the faculty of the somatic voice work. I have been a professional musical theater performer for around 17 years. I've had incredible opportunities to do amazing theater in New York City and all over the US. And I am so excited to dive in to the foundational principles that make up contemporary commercial music. Let's get started. Jeannie LaVetrie is a force in the voice pedagogy world. She has spent over 50 years of her life creating a method of teaching specifically for those singers who were not singing classical music or for classical singers who wanted to cross over into more contemporary styles. The first thing she did was label the genres of music that were being regarded as a non something. So now we have the term contemporary commercial music. I will be referring to it as CCM, which includes pop, rock, country, folk, gospel, R&B, jazz, and the list goes on. It is very important to know that many CCM styles are regularly integrated into musical theater as well. Let's see why. If you want to perform music that falls under the canon of contemporary commercial music, the understanding of function and registers is key. This idea that if you sing classical, you can sing anything is an outdated view and scientifically proven to be incorrect. Let's take a closer look at the registers. So, what is a vocal register? So, in the pedagogy world, a vocal register is a group of sounds with a unified tonal quality. So, voice science is amazing. And we know that registers happen at the level of the vocal fold, which is found in your throat. And they have a very unique response in the throat. So, people have described feeling the registers in certain parts of their bodies. Chest register, feeling like a vibration in their actual chest. Head register, feeling like it's vibrating or floating in their head. That's how we got the names. But you need to know that the actual function of chest register and head register happen at the level of the vocal fold. Now that we know that vocal registers happen where? At the level of the vocal folds. Let's throw out a couple more labels for these sounds that you might hear. So we have our primary registers, fry. I know that's an actual register. Crazy, right? Chest register, and head register, also referred to as pulse, modal, and loft. Let's take a look at these sounds actually happening in the throat. Here we go. If you have never seen the vocal folds in action and you do not like anatomy or slimy things, you can go ahead and skip this part. But here you will see the inside of a young female making sounds in chest register. Here I want you to notice that the vocal folds are shorter and thicker. In the science world, we call that TA dominant or thyroarytenoid dominant. And then you hear her slide up into a headier sound. Here, I want you to notice the folds become thinner and longer. In the science world, we call that cricothyroid dominant. I'll be doing a whole separate video fully dedicated to vocal anatomy for those of you who want to know more about that. But take a listen. Again, notice chest, head, and see the behavior of the vocal folds. Enjoy.
Here is a look at some normal young female vocal cords during a stroboscopic exam.
The elusive mix. What is it? It can be explained as a combination of both head and chest register. The mixed voice is where most people are singing. So, one of the biggest challenges singers face is keeping these two registers coordinated. Most people come in to my studio with a lack of coordination. This can be explained as a crack or a big break when going from a more chesty sound to a headier sound. It can sound something like this. Ah. So as you can see, there's actually no mix at all. There's just kind of a heavy chest and then a very light breathy head. So it is the voice teacher's job to help the student coordinate these two registers. Let me give you some examples of mix in my own throat. So I'm going to be using Somewhere Over the Rainbow because it has that beautiful octave jump that takes you right over that first passaggio. So here we go. Somewhere over the rainbow. So to me, that's not super heady. That's also not super chesty. I would not label that as a belt, but it is leaning a little on the chest, like a little on the chest side. So that's really a nice mixture of both head and chest. A great example of someone singing in this type of quality, Megan McGinnis. Listen to her. All right, here's another mix. Somewhere over the rainbow. Not too heady, not too chesty, but definitely leaning on head more in that mix. But you do still hear chest. A great example of someone who really mostly sings in a head dominant mix, Queen Kelly O'Hara. Give them a listen. Why is working with registers one of the most important principles of CCM, you may ask? Well, musical theater, which falls under the canon of CCM, is the only genre of music that will ask you for a specific vocal quality in an audition breakdown. More often than not, you will see a breakdown say, must be able to belt to a C, must have a light floaty high C, strong mix to a D. The singer must have control of all of the registers to be able to meet the demands of the industry. You also will be asked by music directors, choral directors, and producers to create a different vocal quality than you are giving at that moment. A music director might say, can you make that mixier? Or can that be a little chestier? Can that sound have a bit more edge to it? Can it be a little breathier, brighter, darker, etc.? The singer must learn how to make these demands actionable, all while respecting their body and their throat. Focusing on registers will allow you a broad color palette to use at your disposal for artistic expression. Finding a teacher to help you meet these demands is incredibly important. They will help you make these demands actionable. At the end of the day, you are telling a story, communicating and expressing emotion, and each emotion could call for a different vocal quality. Anyone can sound pretty or sing loud and high, but what will set a singer apart is how they are using their sound to express and communicate. Okay, before belting your face off, let's talk about register balance. So as a teacher, it is my goal to make sure the voice is balanced, meaning both registers are talking harmoniously to each other and the singer can cover 2.5 octaves without any difficulty or fuss. Keeping the singer's middle range coordinated will allow the most variability in the middle. We do not want a singer to live in the extremes as a default. When I say extremes, I mean belty or really chesty in the middle or really heady in the middle. Do you need to learn how to make those sounds? Absolutely. You just don't want to live there. So singers must walk before they run, and register balance is key. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how we coordinate the two registers. In my experience, most people need a little bit more work finding their head register, as most of us don't access the sound in our normal daily lives. Maybe when we are cheering someone on at a ball game, or like I said in the previous slide, if you're Julia Child and you speak in your head register. But like any muscle, we have to be in the sound for the muscle to strengthen. So, head register in most beginners is on the breathy side, but with work, it will become clear. Now, I'm not saying that you have to sing in head register, you have to sing a song in head register. This is purely for functional purposes. Like I said in the previous slide, chest register is the muscle and the strength of the whole mechanism, and head register is the flexibility and agility and the stretch of the mechanism. You need both. If you just have chest and you start kind of going up, 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 the chest has absolutely nothing to mix into if there's no head register function. So here's an example of pure head register on an E vowel. E. Here's another one on an oo. Ooh. Here's more mix. Ooh. Those are different. We're trying to cultivate head register. Ooh. This can be described as light, cooey, lullaby, kind of like choir boy, pure sounding. So I want you to test this out on an E or an oo. Give it a go. Let's talk a little bit more about mix, shall we? I had to put my hair up for this one. When I first begin a warm up with a singer, I always listen for register balance that shows up naturally. So people are generally leaning more on the chesty side or more on the heady side. This has to do with the types of music they're singing, the type of instrument that they were born with, the type of register work that they're currently doing. I call this the default position. This is the sound that you would make without any warm up or any preparation, without any conscious thought. So, my job as a teacher is to evaluate and assess your default. From that, I create an exercise to coax a different response in the throat. For instance, say I'm warming someone up and they're very, very heady through the middle. I ask them to be louder, which as you add volume, you tend to get a little bit more mix or chest in that sound. Say I ask for more volume and still I could not get any type of chest register showing up. So my first thought is like, we need to cultivate and work on chest register, right? That person's default sound leans a little on the heady side. And again, like I said before, we're always aiming for balance in the middle. That's going to give the singer the most variability. Yay! So some of the ingredients that I use to cook up an exercise include pitch, vowel, volume, duration, and quality. A singer can control all of those things. That makes sense to most people. Generally speaking, as teachers, we are trying to either relax, strengthen, cultivate, and develop. So, what can you as a singer do? Let's take a look. So, what should the singer at home do? Practice, practice, practice. Just like any athlete, doing specific targeted exercises given by your teacher will cultivate a specific skill or retrain an old skill that's not quite serving you and create new neural pathways in your brain. This will lead the body, mind, and throat to learn that new muscular behavior, which eventually will become automatic. In the meantime, a singer should learn to become fully aware of what your body is doing while making sound. As you do an exercise, ask yourself, what am I experiencing? What am I feeling? What am I hearing? This way, you are able to apply these tools on your own and carry them over into your music. Also, have so much fun. Remember, Slow and steady is the way to go when you're learning the skills needed to sing contemporary commercial styles. Get practicing, and I hope you enjoyed this short presentation. And remember, have fun!